Hi everyone, it's Ayesha here from godfm, and I want to talk today about throwing away the old and starting again with the new today. If you're a targeted individual, this is going to work for you really well, so you might want to sit up and listen. Okay, I've been a targeted individual twice. The first time in 2015. It went on for 9 months. And then it stopped. Although I thought it stopped. I also moved house twice. The first time I moved from a furnished house to a furnished house. So I had to get rid of everything. And this was within about a year of this all happening. So I was targeted in 2015. I believe it's because I went on a TV show. And they, at the time in the UK, were doing the Hunted TV show. And I think that the producers of the shows know each other and whatever. And I think they identify their victims in this way. Although I'm not really sure. But it just seemed everyone I ever knew was involved in it. And I found it really hard to get my head around at the time. But God told me to be quiet and just ignore it. So I did. And then when it was over, I just let my business be run by very wonderful, kind apprentices, actually. And I just couldn't go into the office. I was just too tired and shocked and in a state of exhaustion, so I had a bit of a rest. But I'm going to tell you the process that got rid of it the first time, and the process I think you should take to stop this. Alright? This is what I suggest. I mean, I don't know everything. Okay. What I noticed the last time is they got into the computers. They got into all the phones. And they got into the TV. And the lights, little lamps. Any electrical items around the home were tampered with. So I believe. And they also messed with the electricity as well. So, basically, I re-wiped the computers using Bitdefender, a disk that basically goes through the internals of the computer, and reinstalled the software. Redid the partitions on the computers. I had a friend to help me at the office, and we did all of that. And then we put a padlock on the front door, and we changed locks. We did a combination padlock on the front door, and that stopped them coming in. At the house, I don't know if they stopped coming in, but I just basically tried to continue with my business, and eventually they left me alone. I bought a new phone, I got a new number, a new iCloud account, and I thought that was that, and they left me alone. But I still used my other number, but not for the iCloud, and I used it in the new phone. But I basically waited a few months before I did that, and then I started finding everything was fine. They messed with the vehicle as well, so the aerial didn't work, and I think they had copy keys for the car as well, so they kept vandalizing the car as well, even after. But what happened was I moved from a house that was furnished to a furnished house. So I got rid of all TVs, and I got rid of any junk, basically. I had a lot of stuff. And I was desperate, and the house I was moving into was actually right next door. and it was a really beautiful apartment, and it was a holiday let, and I needed to move, and the owner said, well, if you want, you could go in there, but you'll have to get rid of all your stuff, because I'm not getting rid of my furniture. So I basically had to get rid of everything, including plates, knives, forks, all kinds of things, because they'd already had it in there. So I took this as an opportunity to do a major clear out. I got rid of all the furniture, sold it all, and TVs and whatever. I got an auctioneer to take it all, actually. And then the auctioneer ended up double-crossing me, so I found. But nevertheless, it was so much nicer in this new property. When I moved into it, I basically had to just pack a suitcase with some clothes that I wanted, because it had a built-in wardrobe and everything. I took some of the key furniture from, I bought some new furniture for the bedroom, and I got rid of everything, basically. And when I moved into the new property, it was like a new life. I slept really well. Completely forgot about the targeting. And I think because I'd moved next door, I don't think that the guys really knew what was going on. Or if they did, I don't think they could really do very much. And then the owner decided that he now wanted to use his apartment again for holiday lets, and could I find somewhere else, sort of thing. And for those of you who know me, I had an estate agent, and it just so happened this man walked into my office that week. The landlord had been to see me on the Sunday, and I saw this property, I think it was on the Wednesday, and it was one road down from where I used to live, and it was a 4-bedroom property, so I could take it when my children could move into it, and it was nicer in a way, but it was a bit more old-fashioned than the other place. So the landlord said, I'm looking for a tenant, and I went up to meet him, and I said, I actually need a property, would you consider me? And he said, yes, of course. So I moved into it. I said, but I want to buy it, ideally. So I want the option to buy it. And so we put a contract together, and I moved into it. And then I put some cameras up as well, which were fixed cameras, not Wi-Fi. Because of the things that had happened, I decided I'll put some cameras up. But I never really used them. They faced outside the house onto the car park. So I always vandalized my car, I found. So that was my way of sort of keeping an eye on everything. And I had to buy everything new. So I ended up moving into this house by just taking all the food, really, and a few pots and pans, buying a new bed, buying new furniture for the lounge, a new couch, which actually picked up a couch, one of those L-shaped couches in my car, in the convertible. I actually picked it up in the car, and I had photos of this for quite some time, of me picking it up, basically, and getting to the house with no one to help me, and waiting for someone on the street to help me put it in my home. I've always done everything on my own. I've never really had anyone. And so we moved into it, and we had basically, we had to buy a new TV. I had to buy a TV for my bedroom and my children's rooms, and that's what we did. And we got new furniture, new beds, and everything was fine. Somewhere between moving from one place to the other and getting rid of all the clutter and all the electrical items, and then moving into the new property and buying everything new again, they kind of didn't really have a hold anymore. I didn't realise this, but I also changed my name, because of what happened, but I only changed it officially in 2019. And I just started using my new name. I didn't change my name fully, I just changed a part of my name, just so it would be difficult to find me. And so I don't know where it starts and ends, but I believe that if you want this to stop, then do what I did. But treat it as if you're moving out, get rid of everything, and buy everything new. It's cheaper than moving across the country. My attitude now is the same. Like with my new property where I am now, they've been doing it because I moved 3 years ago. Oh no, 2 years ago. After this started in 2003, I had to move out at the beginning of 2004 because the electrics caught fire. And it was basically, this started after someone had come to stay. And they had keys to my home, and basically they could have done all sorts of things in the property. And one of the things I noticed while they were staying with me is all the light bulbs exploded. Like there was an additional current running through, and the hot water was hotter than normal. It was electric hot water. And then I started feeling currents through the house, and then they started doing stuff underneath and above and all sorts of things. So finally, as I say, the electric box caught fire and I had to move out to where I am now. But it was a blessing in disguise, because in that time my children had grown up and left home, and I had this massive 4-bedroom property which was beautiful, overlooking the sea. But there's no way I could afford to stay there. Even though I had students most of the time. If I didn't have students, I really was in a bind. Every year I would have my heart in my mouth, wondering if I could get students. I didn't want to move, because I'm quite stubborn that way. I don't like to be beaten. But obviously now I'm in a small place. And I'm not in a really highly desirable area, but it's mine, and I'm in a smaller place, which is much more manageable. And I don't really like living with strangers anyway, so it's quite nice. So I took it as a blessing when I moved here. And when I moved here, I brought all my shackles with me. Not everything. But I went from a 4-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom house, and I brought my little lamps that I'd bought. I'd bought my TV. I brought my Bluetooth speaker. I brought everything that I wanted, and got rid of everything else. I had a little radio in the kitchen, which I kept, and I brought that with me. I had stand-up lamps and all sorts of things from my old house, which I kept. I really like lamps, so I always have lamps in the kitchen, and lamps, I'm a bit eccentric this way. I really like lamps. So my mum always told me, you can do so much with lamps. So I did that, and I had lots of lamps. And I had really nice designer lamps with beautiful little shades and all sorts of gorgeous things, silk-covered lampshades and all sorts of things. But I noticed that wherever I put these lamps, I would have problems. And TV always had problems. In fact, when the guy that I said was staying with me at my old house, one of the things that happened is the TV stopped working, and we had to buy a new TV. And I trusted him, and he went out and bought me a TV secondhand. Goodness knows what they did to the TV. But the TV was somehow hooked into Bluetooth speakers. The speaker I had for the TV would plug into the audio jack, and it wasn't part of the Bluetooth. Because I like sound systems, and I would use the TV as a sort of place to play loud music as well. And if you're on YouTube Premium, you can just leave it playing, can't you? So, but I realised, obviously, once I got into everything, I had to accommodate and change everything. Then I noticed that my lamps in my new property would flash lights and things, and then everything would come on. So I thought, well, it must be an exertion on the currents or something's going on. And they always do everything through hot water, I found. Don't know exactly how they do it. But, again, my TV stopped working, so I bought another TV. And I don't have a TV in my bedroom. My electric socket stopped working in my bedroom, so I don't really have anything in my bedroom. My side lamps from my bedroom I brought downstairs, and I noticed that I slept better without side lamps. So I don't really have side lamps now in my bedroom. And I've kind of done a similar thing here, where I'm getting rid of old things. The way I think of it is I have memories attached to things that when they started, so I've basically got rid of a lot of things. The speaker that I had, the Bluetooth speaker, I got rid of it. I do have a Bluetooth speaker which I use, but now and then, and it basically goes in a Faraday box when I'm not using it. And I've basically had to adapt my life a little bit for what's happened. One of the key elements I noticed is that I had extension leads that would seem to activate things. So I changed a lot of the extension leads. So that might be something worth looking at as well. Think of everything that they could adapt it. Chargers is another one. Phone chargers, I think they can adapt them and do stuff to them. I have an iPhone and I always have it in lockdown mode now. So I recommend that, because apparently the CIA couldn't get into someone's phone because it was in lockdown mode. The advanced data protection isn't there, but these are things you can do. Even with Pegasus and Stingray, I think they've got to have access. One of the things that's different to last time is the 5G. So when it started last time, I could switch off the internet on the phone and they couldn't do anything on my phone once I switched off the 4G, 5G or 6G. But really noisy seagull out here. But now it doesn't matter if my phone's on or off, because we've got the eSIM facility. They can get into the phone and convince it that it's on, and that the telephone number, that the SIM card's not inside, but it's still active somehow. So these are the modifications they've done to the devices. Obviously, you can't change everything, but if you're at wit's end, right, and you're really tired of this stuff, then I want you to go round your home and get rid of your kettle, your toaster, get rid of your TV, get rid of any Bluetooth speakers, lamps, anything electrical, and think to yourself that they're infected. Put things in a box that you know is associated with this infection. Charging devices, anything like this. Cameras, anything like this. and put them in a box to deal with, because you may want to use those cameras again. Lamps. You can always buy new lamps. Think of it as a horrible smell, a horrible thought, a horrible feeling attached to this memory. And get rid of everything and treat it as if you're moving. Do the major clutter clear out. Treat this as an opportunity. Think of it as you're moving, but you're not really moving. So take everything outside, throw away what you don't want, and keep only the essentials to turn your house into a holiday home, like I moved into. Buy everything new electrically. Don't have a TV for a while and don't have any lamps. Use a cooker kettle. Better. Don't have a toaster, use the grill for the oven. If you've got a toasting machine, they are the worst. Cut off the plugs on anything you want to keep. Cut them off. This is the best way. Iron, the same. Cut it off. If you don't use your iron, definitely do that. Vacuum is always a problem, so you're going to have to put that thing on a piece of wood. I would replace the vacuum and I'll get a new one. And I would recommend that these are the key things to changing your life. Because I'll tell you how I have worked this out. When I moved into my 1-bedroom little property, I slept here the first night with the very basics. And I slept very well. Then once I started moving over things and people started to visit, then things started to happen. It's like they hooked up everything, connected it up to old devices from the old property, once they knew where they were. And so, if there's nothing that identifies you, then they can't do anything to you. This is my thinking. So you've got to treat it as like you're a traveller, and you're visiting, and you're in a holiday. Treat your home like a holiday let, where items of electrical value are disposable and need to be replaced regularly. Same with underwear and socks. And be very clean. Have disinfectant, bleach on the ready for bleaching. And this is my recommendation. There are certain items which I have kept from their new house, but it appears that they've adapted certain things that now when I run them, I have problems. So it looks like I'll be getting rid of more electrical items. And basically, the way I see it is that this is a bit better than renting a room in someone's house. I haven't got privacy because I've got people invading my home. I'm being hacked and stalked. So I've got to treat everything as that it can be accessed and probably will be accessed. This includes, but isn't limited to, phone chargers, battery packs, things like this. I have a certain battery pack that when I use it, I get backache. So that goes into a shielded box now. Don't know what they did to it. I've got a computer that is basically, I've had to disable and basically break the computer so that they can't access it. And I've also had to sew it up and put it inside a pillowcase, inside a briefcase with a combination lock. That's the extremes I've had to go to stop them accessing my computer, my little laptop, which I can't use because as soon as I do, they're in everything. Things like Microsoft Word and things like this, Microsoft on the computer, basically you want to wipe the computer, take it to a specialist and have it wiped. Take all the information off it that you need it and treat it like you're a traveller. Don't have anything that's associated to you. TV the same. If you've got a smart TV, then I think it's time to get rid of the smart TV. Or one of the things you can do is you can reset the TV every time you use it. Definitely you want to take out the batteries out of the TV controller, and you don't want them accessible for the child eating, blood drinking, psychopath neighborhood watch gang stalkers who are going to come in your home every time you go out. So you have to make adaptations knowing that you've got people coming into your home. The other things I would suggest you do is put a lock on your door, new lock, learn how to change locks, and get yourself a combination padlock for your front door. Change all the window handles. They're not expensive, but make sure your windows close and lock. And lock them. If you're not going to lock them, then you need to get some crystals to put on the handles so that if anyone does come in, those crystals are going to come off the handles and smash. And then you've got basically evidence, because these guys will like to do stuff without any evidence, any witnesses. Oh, you've imagined it. People haven't come in your house. And think of it like, your bedroom. If you've got yellow curtains and yellow lampshades, get rid of the yellow and go for blue. But get rid of the lampshades. Maybe get a child's nightlight plug-in for a while. Get the cheapest accessories that you can use as disposable. If you're having problems, get rid of it. And I mean, I've had to strip right down to the point where I don't have a kettle or a toaster. I had to get rid of my microwave that I had because it was such a problem. I had to get rid of my Krups toasting machine because I had so many problems with it. The same with the sandwich toasters, anything, and liquidizers. I had to get rid of anything like this. Smoothie makers, iron, hair straighteners, hair dryers, the same. Everything. I don't use anything like that now. I've really adapted to my life being invaded every day. To the point where I don't use these accessories anymore. I don't need them. I don't even dye my hair anymore. I used to dye my hair. And now I've got long hair down to my bum. And half of my hair is dark black almost. Very black. Just been, adapting my life. But you're going to have to buy new knickers and new underpants and new socks regularly. And when you take your clothing out the wash, you should think of it as infected. Especially if you're going to have to leave it lying in a basket because you've got too much stuff. Their favourite thing is to break drawers, so you can't close drawers. Why? So that Nano can get inside it. Hairbrushes need to go inside a drawer so that Nano dust can't land on it. You need to buy certain hairsprays and things. I would use perfume on your privates and things like this to keep your privates clean. And I would use bleach to scrub yourself down to ensure that none of the Nano is sticking to you. I've made up certain things like coconut and bicarb to help me, but they've come in and they've put Nano inside it, so that anything I do to try and help myself, they've got to it, because we've got child-eating, blood-drinking psychopaths coming in my home every time I go out. My knickers, they've cut up. My vest, they've put holes in. Now, I had a problem with a washing machine about a year ago, and it had holes in the drum, and it was dented. And so it actually cut up my clothes. So I had a whole stack of clothes that had cut up, and I threw it all away. And I bought new. But all those items have returned to me, and they've swapped them for the new items I replaced them with. So now when I throw out things, I cut it into pieces so they can't return it later. Because I know that the child-eating, blood-drinking psychopaths are going to come in my home and urinate all over it and put stains in the carpets and modify electrics. So you basically need to minimize the electrical things that you've got in your home. If you're going to have things like air purifiers, they can't be plugged in when you're not using them, and they need to be in a different part of the house. The plug lead needs to be separated from the unit itself, and the unit itself most likely will have to go into a Faraday box so that they can't switch the damn thing on, because they've modified the house around you to switch things on. Okay? I mean, I like an air purifier, and I've also got a humidifier. But they are able to vibrate the humidifier from one part of the house to another. So basically I can't use the humidifier. I've had to stop using it because they've taken it over. So that'll be an appliance that I'll have to get rid of as well. Things like washing machines and fridges, which are integral to the kitchen, have also become used only when essential, and also tend to go on stilts. And the plugs come out, and the fuses come out when I'm not using them. Fridges only really need to be on for a few hours a day. My boiler, they have completely taken over the unit. So I found if I run my boiler, everything comes on. And I come from South Africa, so I don't like the cold, but I also don't like radiation. So I have a choice now. Either I put my heating on and get radiated, or I sit and freeze, and it's better to freeze. So that's what I do. When I change shoes, I treat it like they've put nano in everything. So everything gets sprayed with my own disinfectant. Black clothes get sprayed with bleach. It's this simple. And I've got black dye, and I will just dye all my clothes black, or replace my clothes regularly. And I'll treat it like I'm in a prison where I have to wear the clothes that I've got, and they're recyclable clothing. Got to disinfect them from nano, and then I'll just be buying new clothes from the charity shop. The same with, like, if bedding is on the bed and I go out, they come in and they put something in the bed. So basically every time I go out, I have to change the bedding. If I've got bedclothes under the pillow, they will put nano all over the bedclothes, so I can't wear those bedclothes again. So what I recommend is that you buy second-hand clothes and have replacement clothes, and you need to be changing your clothes if you're going out. If you've got stuff in drawers, then it seems to be okay. I've actually got a wardrobe which has got a lock on it because it's in my bathroom, but they still get in there. and they do stuff. So I would get some disinfectant, nano spray. What can you use? Well, perfume works quite well. Having self-tan works quite well. Hair dye works really well, actually, as well. The stuff hates peroxide. Bleach, too. Does like black. So blue is quite nice to wear. Wear blue. And have clothes that, for sleeping, have clothes that are universal, that you could go out in. That because you're a target, you're under assassination by neighbours. So you need to be prepared to be pulled out of your bed any time by child eaters, because they're invading your life. Police could arrive, or ambulance, at any time to try and cart you off to the mental ward. So be prepared for that. And so wear sort of nice tracksuits around your home that you also sleep in. This way you don't have to keep buying outfits every time you go out. That's what I do. Otherwise they come in the home and they put nano all over the clothing that they know you're wearing. And they swap your underwear. So you've got to always have some new underwear on the ready. And if you've got itchy bits and pieces and feet and whatever, it's because they put stuff on your socks. They put stuff in the water as well. So I recommend you put little filters on the water. You can get a sock and put it over your tap, and you can put covers in the drain. Always make sure your plugs and your sinks are covered with the plug inside. With the toilet, I have problems. This is the main area of entry for them and their nano and all the stuff. Right? What they tend to do is they get access to the water supply, usually at a neighbouring property underneath or next to your property, and intercept your water. One of the neighbours will be hired to do that. Because this is to affect you specifically. The nano will go inside you, construct inside you, and then they can play games like Sims games using their computers to control you, manipulate your life, and harass you and stalk you, right? And then you appear crazy because this will be activated only in you, not for anyone else. The ringing in your ears and this sort of thing, this is from the nano that they've put all over the home. You know, the sticky stuff, the dust, the things they put on your clothing and on your underwear, the things they have adapted on your electrical appliances. This is specific for you so that no one else can identify with what's going on and you look crazy. So you've actually, as I say, got to get rid of everything that's in association with you. You've got to treat it like you're a visitor in your own home. And all of these electrical appliances need to go. And that's what I recommend. Because if you move house, you're taking it all with you. So you can deal with it at the house you're at by doing it in this way. So I found. Obviously, I don't have all the solutions. But the other thing I do is that I have lots of magnets. These really help me. Magnets high up in each corner of the house. Very nice. Magnets quite near the electrical main box. Very nice. Light bulbs sprayed silver. Very nice. You need to really think that whatever you buy is disposable from now on. The phone is also disposable. And actually what I recommend is that you don't use your SIM card. You have several devices, learn how to use them. Wi-Fi and internet routers the same. And have a hidden Wi-Fi. And if you're going to use your SIM card, you've got to know that they're going to be connecting to it, because they're going to create a spoofing Wi-Fi or spoofing network, because this is Pegasus and Stingray. And they're going to follow you and track you and update your phone and connect to your device through that. So this makes it very tricky, but I recommend that you've got an iCloud and you've got a backup with the new number and a new phone, like I did before. That works very well. And keep your SIM cards and your things in a pouch or a notebook, and be ready to buy new phones all the time, so that the child eating, blood drinking, psychopath, neighborhood watch blood drinkers don't get access to your device. Because you've got to remember that these people are committing crimes against you, specifically, that are to you. And they need to be able to access your phone and all your messages, so they can intercept all your communications. And it's this way that they control you. It's to intimidate you, of course, and to frighten you. All the neighbours are involved and hired to participate in it. And the crimes are committed in such a way that it's not provable, because it's only done to you. They gas you in your house. If you've got a bathroom, I recommend you close the windows. I recommend blackout window tinting for the windows. If you've got a vehicle, you're going to have to learn how to change batteries. Or get the car started by yourself, because no one will help you, because they will mess with the battery every time. They're going to be putting nano all over the vehicle as well, to crawl on you and bite you, and do things to you. And it will be all linked to the stuff that they've put in your water and in your drains and in your toilet to crawl up your bum, to connect up to this. So you've got to stop access to all of this stuff. So in the bathroom, all the plugs need to be in, the sinks need to be covered with covers, and I recommend that your toilet is covered with a seat cover, so that it can't gas you. But basically, where you do your wheeze and poos, you can put some tissue, and you can also just, you're going to have to really go for the bleach front and bleach this toilet inside and out regularly. I also recommend getting a compost toilet. If you can't put a filter on the toilet water supply, then a compost toilet is going to be your new thing, because you don't want your privates being exposed to this nano that they've put in the water. Something about us pooing and weeing in the toilet is processed. The nano is still active coming outside of you. They've proved that the nano, once active inside you, even when people are dead, this nano is reproducing itself. So you're going to need to get something to kill the nano. So I recommend that you start eating lots of puffed rice. And you can't trust anyone either, because everyone can be paid to participate in this. You're on your own. This is a war. A war to get your truth out, to talk about what's happening to you. No one's going to believe you or help you, but what you can do is you can help yourself, and you can protect yourself. Because if you're breathing this stuff in, this is specifically programmed as well. Once you've breathed it in, they program it once it's inside you. It replicates and grows the length of an arm when the lights are activated to switch the stuff on. So this is my recommendations to you. The other thing I've noticed is they activate everything through screws and lights and clocks. So clocks have also become a bit like electrical items, and I keep them out the way. We got an airplane. Or a helicopter. If that's a stalking helicopter or plane, I pray that it falls from the sky and they all die. Because I don't like being stalked. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of it, eh? Are you tired of it too? So yeah, this is the thing that I've said. If you want to stalk me, you should be prepared to die. Because these people, they're not your friends, right? These people want to destroy you and make you homeless. And basically, if you were on fire, they wouldn't even spit on you, right? These people hate your guts. They don't like you, all right? They want everything that you've got. And if they can't have it, they'll destroy it and destroy you and laugh at you while they do it. These are the sort of people who would torment you and slit your throat and start drinking your blood while you're still alive. Or cut a piece of you off and start eating it because they can. If you've got family and children and they're not talking to you anymore, good. Leave it that way. You don't want this happening to them. You have to get you right first before you can conduct any type of activities in life. The only way is to get rid of the old life and start with new. This means getting rid of, as I say, items. Go and I had it and I really didn't want to do it, but God told me to do it. And he said, if you want new life, you have to get rid of your old stuff. I was like, okay. So I had to get rid of it all and start again. Beware of people sending you WhatsApp messages with links and photos, and messages on TikTok and Telegram, the same. If that happens, you're going to have to remove the app, reinstall the app, change the password. You may have to change your phone. That's how intense this is. This is a no-touch hacking, no-access hacking. So all they need to do is phone your number or send a message and they're in your device. But they might be in your device, but can they get access and link everything to your home if they haven't got anything that's specific to you to link it to? Because I can't stop child-eating, blood-drinking psychopath neighbors, who want to rape me, torture me, humiliate me, and destroy me from doing this. But what I can do is I can limit access to the items that would give them the means to target me and hack me and stalk me. You can also do booby traps. I do that. I leave broken glass at access points so they'll cut themselves, cut their hand apart. In South Africa, we had barbed wire on the windows, on the fences. We'd have broken glass on the tops of walls, and we would have big window locks and metal bars over everything. Because in Africa, home invasions by black people is a regular occurrence, with maids turning up with axes in their heads after they've been chopping up their children in the local shebeen. Alright, I'm not messing around. This happened in my life, right? Okay, so I've seen it all. I've seen people shot. I saw a woman shot in her stomach. Her baby died before she did. With a rifle from quite a way away by someone shooting into the ground. And it came out at a bridge nearby. I went through the swollen stomach. You've got to look at it like, if these guys want to know everything about you, make sure it's hard to get access. And the other thing is, your device is not your friend. Your phone is not your friend. So basically every app that is on there is watching, listening, stalking, and hacking you, right? They get access to the app. Any media conversion type app that you're using, they'll get access. They'll make the modifications, and they will put images on your phone. So I always remove the apps or delete all the photos and the videos once I'm finished. Even though I'm not signed into iCloud, to upload videos or anything, it's got to upload it from iCloud, even though I've not backed up to iCloud. So I know they're in my phone. So all I can do is remove certain apps when I'm not using them. Have several devices and swap them around and use different ones that have all got access to what you need. And you can offload the app when you're finished. WhatsApp is the worst one for hacking you. Yeah, so I found. Because if they're in your WhatsApp, they've taken over your number, you see. The child-eating, blood-drinking psychopath neighbours, what they do is they take over your number and then they get your WhatsApp. If you ever use Bluetooth, they can just wipe completely, take your phone and access it and copy it onto another device. As I've already shown and proved to you that I can hack and take over any device. In fact, I am thinking of contacting Apple for the £5 million reward, because I can prove to them that their devices are unsafe and that I can take over and hack and stalk and take over anyone's device by Bluetooth access and cloning of devices. Right? This isn't using any software, this is using their own access. By the way, I'm just doing some chicken noodles. If you want a nice recipe, I recommend getting just the basic chicken noodles from Tesco or wherever, and with the chicken flavour, it's really nice. And then what you do is you get some chicken, cook it up, some nice herbs, throw it together, it's divine, and make a nice big salad. Very yummy. I hope this helps you. As you can tell, I'm not impressed with the whole child-eating, blood-drinking, psychopath neighbourhood watch effort. And the other thing is, get yourself a little mobile Wi-Fi router that you can put your SIM card in and use the data from your phone on that. You can use that as your Wi-Fi and make it a hidden Wi-Fi. But also you can rename it, if you're not using it, and put it on without a SIM card. And this is your way of advertising that your neighbours are child eaters. So that's what I do. I put neighbourhood child eaters as the Wi-Fi so that they can access it and they can see that they are child eaters. So every time they want to access my phone, they can see that this is a reminder of who they are. The amplification of sound and vibrations is all done by all of these drainage points, but also using lights as sound. That I've already explained to you. So if you are having real problems, I quite often find taking out all the light bulbs in the lights and switching off the electricity and switching it back on again can reset it. I've got a boiler which I can barely use. I can use it, but I've basically I can't control it. I can't control them accessing it and using it. And this is what they do regularly. It's very tiring indeed. Remember that everyone that you've ever known has been a participant in the destruction of your life. No one gives a damn. Everybody wants a piece of the pie. They want to be you. They want to take you. And if they can, they will spit on you while you're on fire. They won't spit on you while you're on fire. Everybody can be bought and paid for in this program, so I found. And so you don't want to waste any more time skirting around the edges. But just you have to act and pretend. This is a Hollywood show movie where we've got child eaters running everything. They all worship the devil. They sold themselves out. And they will also stop you from reaching anyone. So, prayer, fasting. Remind yourself that you're a child of God, that you're very special. Your time here is special. Your relationship with anyone should consist of God alone and any other children of God that you can reach. They've spread us all over the world, so we can't reach each other. As you can tell, I'm very cynical. But what I do is, like with my TV, I've got a TV, and it is smart. I reset it every time. And I like Apple TVs. And I have 2 or 3 of those. I'll use them, then I'll wipe them. It's on a need-to-user basis only. I would never ever leave my TV on, connected to the internet while I'm out. Plug-in extension Wi-Fi, very bad because they can take over the network. You're giving them access to the router. Wi-Fi, once they've seen what the Wi-Fi is, they'll duplicate it around the house, and they'll be connecting up all sorts of devices through the TV. So you can't do these things anymore. It's that simple. Not till this is over. And you've basically got to shut all the doorways and stop them accessing it. If you've got lofts, they will come through your loft. So you need to lock your loft. And I would get some padlocks, combination padlocks on that loft. 2 at least, with bolts. If you've got a stairway, check that none of the stairs are loose, that they're accessing it from underneath the ground or next door. Check for loose bits of carpet where they're coming underneath the ground, because these people will come from underneath your property, above your property, next to your property. They will take windows off hinges. So if you're going to sleep, you need to barricade your front door. Best way is to get a nice big piece of furniture and slide it in front of the door. Or if not, a piece of furniture off to the side with a plank of wood lined up flat against the door, with another plank of wood leaning up against the piece of furniture so that it's barricaded in. Because these are child eaters, They haven't got any values or moral standing. They don't know right from wrong, and they want to destroy you. And these are your enemies, right? And the police won't do anything. And this is a fight against you independently. So these are the means by which I recommend you fight this war. All right? It's Ayesha from godfm. If you want to find me, you can find me on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon, Samsung, Chrome, YouTube, Apple, X, as well as TikTok and Telegram as godfm News, godfm New, godfm Radio, godfm Group, and godfm Media. The other thing is, switch off your phone when you're not using it. And read the Bible. Catch up with your relationship with the Lord. This is a perfect time. There's never been a better time to get up close and personal with God. This is a war between God and the devil, and we're also at war with the children of the devil. Make no mistake. All right. Have a great day. It's Ayesha from godfm. Take care.